everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 29th of December to the 4th of January. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellation Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs, the Western signs, shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination. Either both planets are on the north side side, or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contraparallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contraparallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between the opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contraparallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts, and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contraparallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contraparallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contraparallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contraparallels and parallels are. Okay, so this week we've got two aspects flavouring our week. So first things first, I hope you all have a happy new year and you had a great seasonal period, and even if you didn't go to plan, remember that the new seeds of the new year are coming, and I wish you all the best. So yeah, this week we've got two aspects flavouring the week. As I said, we've got Jupiter quintile the Moon's North Node. So this is nice, inner, subtle, spiritual, esoteric energy, and this came in on the 24th of November, is exact on the 29th of December, and leaves us on the 29th of January 2025 at 5:58 p.m. So it's going to last us for about the next month. So really nice energy, supporting any inner work, shadow work, or just self-soothing that you're doing, or just thinking about things, or whatever it is you want to be working on, especially with your inner beliefs, because Jupiter's about our higher ideals, beliefs, philosophies and stuff, and the quintile means the energy is more inwards, and the Moon's North Node is all about finding our purpose. Also, we've got the Sun making a parallel to Pluto, so this is same as a conjunction, and this is exact on the 30th of December at 8:25 a.m. and leaves us on the 15th of January at 11:39 a.m. So, as I said, Jupiter's quintile to the Moon's North Node, we can just find ourselves more drawn to opportunities for inner growth and inner transformation. So our toxic thought patterns, and remember, what we think often drives the way we react and act to life, and the way we look at things, the way we think about things, and the way we come to believe about things. So this energy is good to work with, to do things that help you improve, understand your emotional and spiritual well-being and development. And Jupiter's energy places the spotlight on, going inside ourselves, being open to healing ourselves, continuing or finding tools, making a plan, writing things down on how you can come to understand yourself on emotional, spiritual and psychological levels. The North Node in Pisces, Jupiter in Taurus brings the grounding. the North Node in Pisces helps us to be more intuitive and empathetic as well. And it's really a good time over the next month to set intentions that align with your higher purpose, higher ideals, what you really want from life, inspiring you to take sort of like courageous, bold steps towards your dreams that resonate with your authentic self. And as the aspect becomes exact on the 29th, you'll do a meditation that can help you find that clarity over the next month as well. But just watch out for escapism. And Pisces ruled by Neptune, so secrets could come out. You can escape into drugs, alcohol, anything that's self-destructive for you in excess, because I don't say anything's good or bad. I'm not the karma police. I'm just here to say, we all must come to know our limits and work within our limits, and a lot of the time it's because we push ourselves to burn out, or think we can cope with a lot of things or just ignore our emotions. This is what a lot of the time drinking alcohol, smoking weed, even taking drugs can be about. Yes, these things can, especially with cannabis, enchant your ability to get with it, but like anything in life, doing anything in excess is never too good. Even just doing spiritual stuff all the time is not always good. We must have fun. It's all about balance. But yeah, it wants us and supports us in finding that harmony, taking practical actions to reach our goals, and if we're open to finding the right tools and sticking with it. A lot of the time we are taught to believe that failure means we're crap, we're not good at it. Failure means we're on the road to success, whatever that means for each and one of us. So yeah, 2024 is about to be over. We're going into the latter part of this decade. We had a bumpy start with COVID and stuff like that, and we've all kind of had a shake up in a lot of ways, globally or internally. We've come to see that the things we took for granted, maybe the relationships, the jobs, the money or whatever, didn't pan out, or for some of you it did pan out. But this week, take some time out to reflect on how you can, become your best self. And by being that doesn't mean having the money, the cars, or the relationship status. It's about learning to manage yourself. So when life throws the crap that it throws at you, because life does that, right? Sometimes, but there's still a lot of good, you can handle it. So the sun's parallel to Pluto allows us to go really deep into our personal power and transform the things and confront issues rather than avoid them, especially those that we probably have been avoiding. We've got a chance to resolve things now, and this can lead to significant personal growth. Some of you will be letting go of things, whether it be a relationship or thought patterns or anything else, a job, or just things that you believe you need to let go of so you can move forward. And this nice, intense and focused energy that really gives us the space to make strategic plans, and supports us in using our inner strength and finding it to overcome obstacles to achieve our goals over the coming month, but especially this week. And it just supports us to build more resilience and unearth hidden motivations and desires, so we can just really go into ourselves and discover new parts of ourselves, or uncover the parts we've been hiding so we can express them. But negatively, we have to be cautious, because power struggles can make our relationships harder. We can be obsessive, get infatuated for some of us, but it really, used in its best way, it can really increase us wanting to reach our goals and our ambition, but also can make us, our fears and vulnerabilities can be increased as well. So be gentle with yourself if this happens. It's really vital to find a balance between being assertive and being vulnerable as well, and this is how we can have a good relationship with ourselves and good relationships with others, because a lot of the time we could meet someone you like them and you put up so many walls, and you can play so many games that can corrode the connection before it even started. And this is why a lot of us say things like, oh, I shouldn't have got with them in the first place, or stuff like that. We have to really take the time to get to know people and to feel them, and to really check in with ourselves at every step to make sure that we are able to meet the other person's needs, they can meet ours, and we really want a relationship. So yeah, spiritually it gives us a chance to explore our psychological depths, and it invites us to let go of our limiting beliefs and restrictions and just embrace the power of change, and we can just really emerge with a renewed sense of clarity and a stronger sense of purpose if we really are willing to work for it this week. So if you're a content creator or do anything like that, each week I'm just going to give some pointers and things you can talk about in your content, or things that you can focus on within yourself if you're just doing inner work. So Jupiter's quintile to the moon's north node wants us to focus on growth, our fate, our destiny, and wants us to go after higher truths, perspectives, knowledge. A lot of the time it can fall into things like jealousy, revenge, or bitterness, resentment, or hurt feelings. And people can hurt us, but a lot of the times people hurt us, and this is not to absolve them and make them get away with it because they're hurt, because typically when you're not hurt you don't hurt others. So it's about building their resilience sometimes to ignore the world and its fuck of art, So content creators can talk about the importance of setting intentions, how important it is to work on our lifelong growth over our lifetime, how we need to make sure our thoughts align with our actions, and therefore this is how we can reach our purpose. Talking about failure, its role in getting us to where we really need to get to. So if we keep getting up after each failure, we build consistency, and consistency is what we need to reach our targets, right? So talking about how to set goals, and the role of fate versus our free will in our personal development. So fate would be the things our parents told us, the things our nations told us, our schools, our friends, our peers, our lovers, the things we've come to believe about ourselves. Fate versus our free will, our choice to break free from all of those restrictions and to find out who we really are by facing ourselves, doing that inner work, doing that shadow work, and aligning our actions with our true calling. So, talking about how we can explore ways in how we can work better with others and better with ourselves, how networking can help us sort of meet new people who believe in similar things to us, or, make us challenge what we believe. And talking about how relationships and community support can help us with our personal evolution, but also giving the flip side that can hinder us, because a lot of the time when we are changing as individuals, we're doing it alone. It's a lonely journey. So talking about how we can stay focused on manifesting our goals, giving practical tips on that, talking about power, transformation, change, and the darker aspects of human experience, about the taboos, things, the things we don't like talking about, our sexual oppressions, our psychological, emotional health, what happens after death, truly happens, facing death. A lot of us don't face it. That's the only certainty in life, death and taxes, and that's not to be blasé about it, but it's to, give a pointer on how we need to become sort of comfortable with that. So discussing, about personal and collective transformation, giving strategies on how we can do that, how we can confront our fears and embrace change, how we can deal with our passion, our trauma from our childhood or heartbreaks and stuff, how we can keep getting back up after each failure, as I said. And also talking about symbolism, like the role of rebirth and death in astrology and life as well, and giving tips on how to handle power dynamics within our relationships and within ourselves, and just talking about shadow work, what it is, because shadow work is really important. I found in my journey, even if people typically say, oh, you're the best person ever, you're a good person, we've all still got a shadow. So just sometimes our shadow could be wanting everybody to be perfect, wanting the world to be perfect, because we see someone as our friend, our mom, our lover, we expect them to meet the criteria of what we would want our lover, our friend and mom or whatever to act like. And of course, we have these roles and titles and labels that say parents will do this, a friends will do this, but this is why I believe communication in setting up relationships rather than assumptions is really important. Asking the right questions rather than 2, 3, 4 years in or 10, 20 years in, finding out that maybe we're friends with people we don't actually like, we don't actually have things in common with, and this doesn't mean, you know, that's necessarily a bad thing, but when we create the intention, so talking about the importance of setting intention, thinking about the importance of setting intentions this week as well, and how, you know, you can build more resilience into your life and use your inner strength more, and you know, keep on going even in the face of adversity and setbacks. You know, it's a really good week, month really to, you know, talk in depth, and especially about the interplay between light and dark, good and bad, and exploring how acknowledging and integrating these aspects of yourself. You know, we've all got strengths and weaknesses, good traits and bad traits. You know, how this can really be not only profound for your personal empowerment, but also for society progress. Like, I totally believe if each person who's able to, because a lot of us, not a lot of us, but some of us having parents, right, where everyone who's able to just gets to know themselves and manage themselves on the psychological, emotional, spiritual and physical levels, the world will just be a much better place, you know. So that's the energies that are governing us this week. So on the 29th of December, as I said, Jupiter makes its exact quintile to the moon's north node at 45 minutes past midnight. The moon enters void, of course, at 3:01 a.m. The moon enters Sagittarius at 5:53 p.m. Chiron goes direct at 9:13 p.m. and the sun makes a sesquiquadrate to Uranus at 9:59. So the sun sesquiquadrate to Uranus happens when the sun's in Sagittarius and Uranus is in Aries, and the moon in Aries allows us to be more optimistic this week, have more of a desire for freedom and explore, so supports the theme of this week, going within and, you know, setting you know, plans for our future. Chiron going direct, you know, really helps us to work through our own psychological, spiritual and emotional wounds. This is supporting us to get more clarity, find our purpose, know ourselves a bit more, understand ourselves, forgive ourselves for our past, because we can't get back the past. All we ever truly have is the now, the moment now, and, you know, we should heal the past and reflect on it. It comes a time when we must let it go, and every person's time to let go of the past comes at different times. You know, the sun's sesquiquadrate to Uranus again can bring unexpected changes into our week. Whatever happens is pushing us to break through from our comfort zones, our toxicity, you know, in relationships, our thoughts, and from our routines, and embrace new ideas, new ways of doing things. But we can feel kind of anxious because of this, as we don't typically like getting out of our comfort zones, and just the unpredictability can just make us feel on edge. So yeah, on the 30th of December, Mercury makes a sesquiquadrate to Mars. The sun makes its exact parallel to Pluto at 8:26 a.m. and there's a new moon at 10:27. And if you want to know all about the new moon, then check out the separate audio. So yeah, Mercury sesquiquadrate to Mars happens when Mercury is in Scorpio and Mars is in Cancer, and the sun's parallel to Pluto, which I talked about earlier, which is like governing us this week, is exact today as well. So Mercury sesquiquadrate to Mars helps us with our mental and verbal conversations. It pushes us to express our thoughts more assertively, but we need to just be mindful, because this energy adds to, you know, the power struggles of this week and the misunderstandings that can come up in the conflicts, you know. So we need to find a balance between wanting to communicate and wanting to be heard, with, you know, being patient, being foresight, thinking, should I really say this now? Is this the right time or place? You know, words can be so easy to say but harder to take back, so impulsive remarks can lead to unnecessary tension in relationships. It's an ideal moment to channel your mental energy into constructive discussions or creative projects, and align your ideas with action while also avoiding making hasty sort of like decisions as well. And the new moon in Sagittarius, I'll just talk a bit about that here, but if you want the fullness of it, check out the separate audio, as I said. So it's a good new moon to set our intentions, expand our horizons, whether through travel, learning or new experiences, and by embracing the optimistic energy of Sagittarius, which encourages us to dream big and go after goals that align with our core values. And the synergy with the sun's Mars parallel to Pluto can serve as a powerful push for transformation, and it supports us in digging deeper into our goals and using our inner strength to manifest our goals. So, today's energy supports us renewing things, transforming, and taking a new look at our life and saying, I can do the things I always wanted to do, it mustn't think that it's too late and things like that. And it wants us to, start new things while keeping an eye on our lessons from the past or the things we should be learning from the past, with the intention of not wanting to repeat it. So on the 31st of December, Mars enters out of bounds, and I've done a longer audio on that as well. If you want to check it out, Pluto makes a sextile to the Moon's North Node. The Moon enters void of course at 7:03 a.m. Mercury makes a trine to Chiron at 7:41. Mercury makes its exact contraparallel to Jupiter at 9:14, and Venus makes a semi-sextile to Neptune. So Mars out of bounds allows us to break free from convention. It supports us with thinking outside the box and having a new adventure, starting new things, setting New Year's resolutions and following them through this year. And although Mars out of bounds gives us more motivation and creativity, it can make us more impulsive, so adding to the power struggles within us and in our relationships this week. So we need to be aware of this and the streams that this energy can bring, because it can be too pushy, or people can be pushy with us to step out over our boundaries. So we just need to watch out for respecting others, making sure we don't have our boundaries pushed, and although even if you can be passive aggressive or people pleaser, it's a good energy that can help you kind of stand up for yourself in the right ways, but just try and stay calm, maybe write things down, voice record them before you say them, and you think about what you want to say before you say it. But in saying that, if you feel your boundaries have been overstepped this week, make sure you do all you can to make sure people don't walk over you and you don't get walked over in a calm way. So yeah, Mercury's trine to Chiron allows us and empowers us to communicate our vulnerabilities with clarity and compassion and create deeper connections. And Venus's semi-sextile to Neptune allows us to be creative in working through our emotions as well and explore our imagination, and this can lead to us having meaningful expressions of love and creativity, just for ourselves. We can draw right things for ourselves or for someone we care about, but we have to stay grounded to avoid falling into elusive fantasies, getting carried away. Make sure you check the facts and don't ignore red flags. So yeah, so Mercury's contraparallel to Jupiter entered on the 23rd of December, is exact to then the 31st of December, and leaves us around the 12th of January 2025. So positively, it helps us with our communication this week and creates a sense of curiosity and helps us expand our horizons. And people may find themselves more open to new ideas, philosophies and perspectives, making it an excellent time for learning, networking and sharing knowledge. And it helps us to have beneficial, productive conversations that sort of repair our relationships or deepen them, and we can blend our thoughts, and it can inspire creativity and innovation. It's a favourable time for written and spoken communication, where we articulate our ideas with clarity and confidence. But it can make us more overconfident, especially, we can exaggerate things in communication, and this can lead to misunderstandings or conflicts, and we may find ourselves, over-promising things, overdoing it, thinking we can do too much, so misrepresenting our ideas. Make sure when we're moving into new thoughts and ways of thinking that we're checking facts, that we're doing it step by step. Often we can rush into a new belief, or we can forget it in a week, So that's why we often don't reach our goals, because sometimes we try to achieve too much or think we should be achieving more than what we should, but things take time. A plant takes time to grow. The farmer puts the seeds in the soil and it takes time to go, So we just need to watch out for disappointments and setbacks, especially when our expectations are not met. And allow this energy to push us towards new things, and make sure you don't miss out on the details. We need to critically think this week, and don't make sure we consider the consequences of our words and actions right now, engage our brains with critical thinking, and just try and find a balance between being enthusiastic and having caution, checking facts, making the right plans, and use this time to have practical conversations while also grounding your ideas in the practical reality of your life, and not thinking of, oh no, I can never make it, but the time it's going to take for you to change your habits. If you're like 30, you've probably been doing certain habits for like 28 years of your life. It's going to take time for you to change, So on the 1st of January, the Sun is in Sagittarius, so is the Moon. Mercury is in Scorpio, Venus is in Aquarius, Mars is retrograde in Cancer and out of bounds, Jupiter's retrograde in Taurus, Saturn's in Aquarius, Uranus is retrograde in Aries, Neptune's in Pisces, Pluto's in Capricorn, Chiron's in Pisces, and the Moon's North Node is retrograde in Pisces. So that's the energy we're going into the new year with. And remember, these weekly scopes are based on Vedic Constellational Astrology, which is based on where the planets or the luminaries, Sun and Moon, are at any given time. But the aspects that the planets work, so if I say like the Sun's making a parallel to, Pluto, whatever, these are the same whether in Western or Vedic astrology. The only thing that's changed is the sign that we say that they're in. So on the 1st of January, the Moon enters Capricorn, so this allows us to be grounded, be pragmatic, think more rationally and logically, and take a more grounded approach. It allows us and provides us with that extra energy to be responsible, to be more disciplined, and to plan long term. So a lot of energies allowing for us to set intentions for the year ahead and focus on our goals and ambitions with a strategic mindset, and it just gives us that extra determination to tackle tasks that we may have sort of like put off or overlooked. We can restart those old projects. Those old projects that you may have put off, the things that you may have put off saying and stuff. But negatively, Capricorn energy can make us more emotionally cold, which can be a good or bad thing, depending on what you're trying to achieve. It can make us more emotionally serious as well, but it's important to make sure we take time out for self-care and reflection to avoid burnout, and not to suppress our needs and emotions just to meet tasks or our obligations as well. And we need to channel our feelings into productive plans while remaining open to seeking support and connections with others. And by embracing the practical energy of Capricorn, we can nurture our emotional well-being while also working towards a long-term success, and making you aware that your emotional well-being and psychological and spiritual needs are just as important of your logical and practical needs as well. So nothing happens on the 2nd of January. On the 3rd of January, the Moon enters void of course at 2:34 a.m. The Sun makes a quincunx to Jupiter at 3:19 a.m. The Moon enters Aquarius at 5:18 a.m. Mars makes its exact opposition to Pluto at 7:22. The Moon enters its Crescent Moon phase. Venus makes a semi-sextile to the Moon's North Node. Mercury makes a quincunx to Uranus at 7:19. Venus makes a quincunx to Mars at 11:42. So the Sun's quincunx to Jupiter can make us have a desire for growth, but we may feel disconnected from how to achieve it with this energy, because a lot of the time we do want to change, but we just think, oh, it's impossible, I can't do it, I don't have enough time, and all the rest of it. But sometimes, like I was saying, you may want to change 20 million things, but sometimes it's best to do one thing, change that one thing, change that one habit. I ain't got 30 minutes to meditate, try and meditate for 1 minute. I don't have a day to do yoga, try and do yoga for 5 minutes. It's just all about doing that consistently. Even if you only take 1 minute to meditate each week, at least you're doing it and you'll build it up and build it up slowly, So although it brings tension, adds to the tension, we can use it to guide it to help us expand, to grow rather than getting away of our growth, and the moon in Aquarius allows us to be detached and think outside of the box, and maybe create new relationships with other people, have come to a new understanding on how you think about yourself. Mars's opposition to Pluto adds to the challenge between our sense of power and control this week as well. Confrontations can come up, it adds to that energy of us being anxiously, very intense, deep, weak, we've got a lot of emotions bubbling under the surface, so we may have to give other people's grace and ourselves grace for not being as grounded as what we will want to be, even though we've got a lot of energy allowing for us to be grounded this week. So yeah, the moon goes into its crescent moon phase. This allows us to start new things, set intentions as well, and align more with our authentic needs. And Venus is semi-sextile to the moon's north node and its quincunx to Mars, again allows us to really be aware of our relationships, our desires, and it adds to the need for change, and it allows for us to have deeper connections. And Mercury's quincunx to Uranus allows us again to focus on our self-awareness and relationship growth, but we just need to watch out for unpredictability in our communication and changes or delays in our communication, and just suddenly things are revealed to us via communication as well with this energy. So some of you may have a secret revealed, or ask an important question, something like that, or reply to an important question or paperwork or something. So on the 4th of January, Venus makes a semi-sextile to Pluto at 5:47 a.m. Mercury enters Sagittarius at 6:36 a.m. The Sun makes a parallel to Mercury at 9:06 a.m. Mercury makes its biquintile to Mars at 2:48 p.m. The Moon enters its void of course at 4:57, and the Sun makes a sextile to Saturn at 10:36. So Venus' semi-sextile to Pluto allows us to explore the depths of our emotional needs and uncover hidden desires and our motivations that can increase our relationships, and it just allows us to understand our emotional needs and allows us to explore our personal power once again, and we may find ourselves drawn to transformational podcasts or books or stuff like that, or things that can help us deepen our connection with reality and our inner world and others as well. But we need to find that balance between working with others and being intense as well. And Mercury entering Sagittarius allows us to sort of feel inspired to say our ideas more freely and to engage in philosophical discussions. And the biquintile between Mercury and Mars is nice sort of energy, and this can add creative flair to our thoughts and help us to find innovative solutions and can inspire conversations. And the Sun's sextile to Saturn is stabilizing influence, allowing us to structure our ambitions effectively and promotes a sense of responsibility and discipline. So this energy allows us to set achievable goals and lay down the groundwork for our future success by starting the work, continuing the work to change our daily thoughts and habits nice and slowly as you go. It's not a competition, it's your journey. So yeah, it allows us to achieve meaningful growth and deeper insights as well. So yeah, that's the end of this week's scopes. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological karmic life coach. So yeah, that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 29th of December to the 4th of January 2025. Have a wonderful new year, and I wish you all the best for 2025 and beyond.